Alright, so it's been a little while since I made a video, and like I said, I was waiting for the lights so I could finish the lights, make sure everything works before I put the roof on. Well, I'm just about at that point, but not quite. I didn't work on it pretty much like at all since the last video. I mean, I worked on it like maybe 5 times, and I didn't get a whole ton of stuff done. But I'll show you what I did get done. There's this back roof section right here above the sunroom, and that's the bedroom right there. And so I did that. Wasn't that hard. If you look down, it's nice and straight. And what I'm going to do with this is, now the normal roof, which will come down like right, end right here on the edge of this wall. It's going to have a roof overhang, which actually, looking at the top of those windows, makes me a little bit nervous because they're a little bit high. But I don't know, it's going to be close. I should have lowered them a little bit. But with this roof, I'm not going to have quite an overhang. It's just going to come a little bit extra down, and there will be some nice trim. Same with the edge. It's going to be flush with the siding, but then there will be a little piece of trim here, so it's not going to fully come off over the edge. And I'll show you an example of that. Right here, as you can see, this roof is overhanging just like a normal roof would, just like that and like that. But with this little dormer, it's not overhanging, there's just trim. Same thing with the edge. See, it's just trim on the edge, but then on the edge of this, it actually overhangs. And this is actually coming off. I have to fix that. So it's going to be the same type of thing. And then going around to the front, I've been working on the porch, which is actually taking a lot longer than you might think. First thing, I'll walk you through the steps of what I did, and you'll be able to see it in the time lapse, but just in case it's a little bit hard to see. What I did is, when I originally framed the floor, in the very beginning of everything, I had this extra section. And so, as you've seen in all the other videos, this has been just kind of here. And the first thing I did is I put the flooring on. And I did the flooring just like that, It's in the opposite direction here, however. And see, there's a nice looking seam there. And the walls were still bare, just like this when I did that. And then I have a nice 45 here, which adds some nice detail. Came out nice and straight and everything. And then I went in that direction for that, so it looks nice. And oh, you didn't even see in the time lapse. I forgot. It's been so long since I made a video. When I was doing the flooring, and you'll see in the video, I actually had to rip off some of the flooring. The reason for that is because these sticks were not parallel with the house. Now these sticks here should be parallel. It should be parallel, like with these walls. It should be perpendicular with these other walls. Everything should be at 90-degree angles. And what happened was, I started my first floorboard here, and I worked my way across, and it didn't line up very nicely with the wall. Like, it was a little bit not square with the wall, and so it would have just looked bad and gotten worse as I went across. So I had to rip it off and redo it, and now that's perfectly, as you can see, perfectly parallel with that wall, and that is also, and then these are perfectly perpendicular. So sorry, I have a cold right now. So everything looks nice. Second thing I did was the siding on the wall. Now the reason I did that next is because if I had done the porch and everything and then waited to do the siding, I would have a hard time doing it, getting my hand underneath there and sticking my hand through the beams and trying to cut everything and get the glue gun up in there. It would have just been difficult, especially up in there. So I decided just to do that while I was able to access it easily. And that came out real nice. I love the way my corners are coming out. that window opening is a little bit iffy right there. I'll have to sand that down a little bit more so it looks straighter. That one looks pretty good, but I mean this corner here doesn't get much better than that. That looks really good. It didn't finish up to the top yet because in order to do this next piece here, this side of the window would have had to be done, which means I would have had to go over farther, and I'm just going to wait and do the siding later. Actually, the last thing I'll do. Then I put the beams up, and this is just one big long piece of wood that I got from Home Depot. Use the saw to cut it, and they're all equally tall. And then I put one there, and then a bunch here, and then I put the beams on top. And I'll put pictures on Facebook. I took pictures a lot when I was putting the beams up of like all the special detail and everything. So if they're not on Facebook already, they'll be there in a couple days. So I put each beam up, going all the way around. And then the next thing I did, I actually did this part yesterday, is I did the floor joists. Now the floor joists do not sit on top of the beam. As you can see, they go into the beam like that. And in real life, you could do it either way. Generally, they would put a beam and then they would have the joists resting on top of it like this. That's also stronger. But this is the equivalent to doing joist hangers. And so the joists pretty much just hang off of that beam. Same thing with the building. They actually go right into the building and they just hang off the edge of the building. So they're just hanging there in between. Which means when I did the ceiling, which was the next step, this was flat. There was no beam sticking down. The joists were flat with the beam, and so it's just flat like that. Now, I don't really like that. I mean, it's not bad, but I think generally with a porch, you're used to having a beam going around the outside, and it just kind of looks nice. In real life, it would kind of block out the sun a little bit. It's a nice kind of a design feature, so I put like a mini beam. All I did was I just put a stick, as you can see, along the outside. I just put a stick there, just a flat piece, just to kind of give it something. Kind of like trim going around. And as you can see it, because like my last piece of ceiling didn't come all the way to the edge, so this piece that I just put on, which is this lower piece that you see right here, is that. And what I'm going to do, obviously it's not done, then I framed the roof here. The reason I didn't finish is because there's two lights that still need to go in here, and I'll tell you about the lights in a second. But anyway, there's going to be a hole, or there is a hole. Where did I put it? Right there. And then there's a hole there in the middle here somewhere. So there will be a light shining down here, and then one right behind the beam. Not going to put one around the corner though. So I got my wire there, and I got my other wire there, back in there. But anyway, so I still have to access these lights so I can solder and get the wires in there and everything. So I have the joists cut. I'll put them in later, and then this section. And anyway, with this roof, what I could have done to make it easier for myself is just had this part keep going down in this direction like that. But in real life, you would have this little thing sloping this way, because otherwise, if you didn't have this here, water, when it rained, would collect right here, and there would be a puddle here because it would just be going straight into the wall, you know, and that would cause rotting and damage. So what they would do in real life is, it's called a cricket. So I just pretty much continued this roof over into this little section. And yes, I actually framed it like a professional framer would do it. Rather than framing this roof all the way across and then framing this over top of it, I framed them as one. See that? You got a ridge beam, or a ridge rafter, or whatever you want to call it. You got another one right here. So there's tiny little joists there. And then these ones will come down, obviously. Haven't figured out what I'm going to do with the roof overhang on the porch. I think it's going to be the same as in the back, just that little piece of trim. I don't think I'm going to have it hang over all that much. Maybe in the front here. Who knows? I'll find out, or I'll figure it out. And then as far as the front goes, I'll actually do this probably next time I work on it. There will be a piece of trim, because obviously this looks ugly. It'll go right here, and then there will be a smaller piece up on top of it underneath the trim probably, but I'll do that smaller piece on top after the roof is all done. but there'll be trim here, and then on the bottom there will be trim that goes just like that. That'll make the porch look nice. So I still have to do that. And then when the whole house is done, probably the last thing I'm going to do is I'll put railing. Real nice railing, similar to the stuff inside there. There'll be railing like that. So it'll make it look nice. And also these beams are nice and straight. If you look at these two and compare them as I get them closer to each other, they're perfectly parallel with each other. Same thing if you look down them this way, they're all parallel. And actually if you line them up with the door, the actual door in the house, in my real house, it's actually perfectly parallel. So that was a little bit difficult to do, but everything's real nice and flush and straight and parallel and perpendicular, and everything's nice. So what is the problem with the lights? Well, today's Tuesday, and last Thursday, not this past Thursday, but the one before that, so about a week and a half ago, I went to the dollhouse store, which is where I have to buy the lights, because they have the kind that I use. Now this place is on the way home from school. It's about 15 or 20 minutes away, and so I stopped. Well, just that day, I don't know what happened, they closed at 4:30 or 3:30 or something, so they closed early. There was just a sign on the store. It said, sorry, we're closing early today or whatever. So they were closed when I got there, so I waited a little while, and then today I figured I would go. I went for a haircut, and then I figured I would stop and get the lights. So I get there, and they're closed on Tuesdays. They're open, I think, every day out of the week except Tuesdays, which I didn't know. So now I have their hours. They're open like 10 to 5 every day, so I'll try to go. See, my next chance isn't even until like either Sunday or like Thursday. But anyway, I gotta get these lights so I can get all this done. And so that's all I did. But next time I work on this, which might be tomorrow if we have a snow day, it's supposed to get 5 to 10 inches of snow tonight. Hopefully we do. If we have a snow day tomorrow, I do have work tomorrow, but if our truck isn't able to get there, then there's not a whole lot for me to do. Plus, it's not safe for me to go to work anyway, and they usually just tell you to stay home. So I might have a whole free day tomorrow. Who knows? So if I do, I'll do this trim, and I might even start the roof, actually. Put the gables on, and then the ridge beam and everything, and get that started. But, so I'm working slowly but surely, and I don't really know what else to explain. So, yeah, just keep watching, and hopefully soon I'll get the roof started. So, yeah. Oh, forgot to mention that. I don't really like the way this is coming out. If you watched when I framed the walls in the beginning of the house, this window is originally right here, and I actually moved it to over here before I put the ceiling on. And I did that to move it out of the way of the porch, but it's actually, I mean, it's not in the way, but it's going to be close. And then with that piece of trim here, it's going to go right up against it, and it's going to look a little bit awkward, but I don't really know what else to do, so I'll figure something out, maybe, who knows. So, that's what it looks like right now.